Good evening, everyone. How's everybody tonight? Rachel, Nadia, Trish, and Dina. How's it going? I heard this a few days ago. It's from, I'm not sure exactly where, somewhere in Saudi Arabia. That's where this artist is from. And it just stuck to me. And I don't know, I've been listening to it. La Mera Mera. Hey there, Eunice. Hi, welcome. Hilda Garcia. Thank you. How you doing? Everyone, hello there. So I'm waiting for a guest. He might join me. Troy was on with me. Hey, Linda Lou, the other night, and he's kind of getting the live bug. So let me cancel that stuff. And if I get canceled or blocked or whatever, somebody let me know, please. I hope not. I don't know how famous that guy is or anything. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about tonight. And one of them, I was having a discussion earlier this morning with somebody on the Melissa Lucio situation. And he's like, no way, man. She deserves what she's getting. And I was trying to explain, because he kept telling me about the bruising. Oh, she's been bruised and battered, for years. So I want to play this short little clip, very short little clip from the documentary that's going to address it's going to address that issue right there. So let's do this real quick. Oops. All right.
My name is Thomas Young. I'm a forensic pathologist. The appellate attorney contacted me.
So this has to do with the bruising that's all over her body that everybody said, oh, look at all that. She's been beaten like crazy. It's because Melissa was beating her up, every day or whatever and forever, right? He's going to address that right now.
And I was asked
sorry about that.
to review the evidence and the autopsy findings on the case involving Mariah. According to witnesses who were there, the child had fallen down the stairs. There are witnesses who didn't see any bruising on the child shortly after the fall or even some period of time after the fall. But then as time went on, these bruises started to show up.
Yep.
They started to develop.
And
bruising is the result of brain injury. There are scientific explanations. The brain falls apart. There are substances that are released into the bloodstream that will cause a cascade of reactions. Even previous injuries will start to become unmasked. All of a sudden, that's going to start showing up. And even minor movement and motion and handling of the child will all of a sudden start to develop lots and lots of bruises because the child's not clotting anymore.
And that is the problem. So even the act of just laying down too much, too long, doesn't even have to be that long. Laying down in the bed, sitting on a hard chair, bumping your elbow in a corner of a wall or a door or something, even the slightest little bump. If you cough too hard, if you sneeze too hard, that can develop bruises everywhere. And that's what I was trying to explain to somebody this morning. And he kept saying, well, I follow the science and the doctors. I'm like, And I put this clip up there, and I'm like, okay, follow the doctors, follow the science. That's what he's telling you. But you just can't get through to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Wendy. Luke, what up, Luke? Luke gave me an interesting story to possibly cover. I don't know. Emily, hey there, Nadia, what's up? Yeah, it's in exactly here. Pooled blood. It just shows up later. And anything can make you bruise. It'll just cause it, and it'll look like somebody beat the crap out of somebody. Doesn't even have to be a little baby. It'll look like somebody beat the crap out of you as an adult. You'll get that. Denise, hey, welcome, Denise. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. So I just wanted to run that clip a little bit and explain that people are saying, well, she's been, battering her for the longest time because she had bruises. And then the bite mark thing, you know what? There was no bite mark. It was never considered an actual bite mark. It wasn't. And not to mention, bite marks are no longer admissible in court. I don't know that there is a jurisdiction that'll allow it because it's not a perfect science. And it's not a bite mark. It was not a bite mark. And I don't want to get into the pointing fingers. Well, how did she get hurt? How did she fall? At some point, she fell or was pushed. All right. And one of those times caused that head injury. Ultimately, she died because of that head injury, the same way that Bob Saget died, the same way that many people who've had head injuries and then they go to sleep later that night. I mean, you think it's just a bump on your head, but man, you really have to watch that. Here, you want to do this again? Let's do this again. This is from the documentary, The State of Texas.
According to witnesses who were there, the child had fallen down the stairs.
Hang on. Go back a little bit more. All right. I'm going to play it uninterrupted.
My name is Thomas Young. I'm a forensic pathologist. The appellate attorney contacted me, and I was asked to review the evidence and the autopsy findings on the case involving Mariah. According to witnesses who were there, the child had fallen down the stairs. There are witnesses who didn't see any bruising on the child shortly after the fall or even some period of time after the fall. But then as time went on, these bruises started to show up. They started to develop. The bruising is the result of brain injury. There are scientific explanations. The brain falls apart. There are substances that are released into the bloodstream that will cause a cascade of reactions. Even previous injuries will start to become unmasked. All of a sudden, that's going to start showing up. And even minor movement and motion and handling of the child will all of a sudden start to develop lots and lots of bruises.
Pretty clear to me. Wendy, I'm still not convinced of her innocence. There were multiple CPS reports filed against her and her drug abuse. Against her drug abuse, yes. And impaired her abilities to properly care. And that's true. Negligence is definitely there for sure. The other thing that happened that day was, let me get rid of this real quick, is they were moving. It was moving day. And they were moving out of one place into another. And it's not clear exactly this fall down the steps, whether it was the long stairs or the 2 or 3 steps from the other place. I don't know what she was moving in and out of. I can't remember. I keep forgetting to ask. So it's not clear cut. There's doubt. There's no smoking gun that say, oh yeah, she did it. There is none. And I'm not going to get into I don't want to get into well, who did it then? What's going on? Who did it? That will get played out as well. Right now, the important thing we're focusing on is getting her a stay and everything else that goes along with that. Maybe getting her released, have him. The other thing the guy was arguing with me today was that, now at the last minute, they want to introduce all this evidence at the last minute, as usual. And I'm like, no, that's always been there. It's just that her attorney at the time didn't want to allow any of it in. It's like, why? What's up with that? It's almost like he was playing he was playing the prosecution side instead of defending her. Just like when someone dies, I mean, on a couple days, the blood settles down and the body, it pools. Exactly. Hey, Carol. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, thank you so much. Means a lot. Thanks, Carol. Lady deserves what the courts ruled years ago. I know people keep saying that, but there's no evidence. There's no real evidence. There's no smoking gun. And if you're talking about the death penalty and you want to take somebody's life, and I'm for the death penalty, but it's got to be an ironclad, airtight, 1,000%. Get it right. It can't be, But what about? Well, those are all doubts. And if you have a doubt, you're supposed to not guilty. So what happened? Hey, Susan. Many reports that show no evidence of physical abuse. Why would CPS return? And that's the other thing. Exactly right. CPS just returned the kids. Not even an interview, not even an inspection. They never even came back to inspect the place and to check up on the kids the next day or 2 days later, a week later. They never came back. They came and they left her, and CPS never came back. That's my understanding. They never came back. From foster care, right? Could she have gotten injured at foster care and had that injury since then? It's possible. And as long as it's possible, then that's a doubt. Now, you should have voted not guilty. But a lot of this evidence was not brought forward. They didn't allow it. Why would CPS return her children if there were signs of physical abuse? An addict does not make a killer. Just because she wasn't a drug addict, true. It doesn't mean that she was abusive. It doesn't mean that she killed her kid. And also, from what I understand, from what the family said, she would go to the bathroom, lock herself in there, do her drugs, get the high, come down from the high, and then she would come out of the bathroom and back to the family. And that's the way she did it every time. Who said? Multiple witnesses, family members, children. Her son said the same thing. That's what she did. Yeah, it might have been a couple hours, but she would go in there and she'd get her high and then come back down when she was back to normal. And then she would come out of the bathroom and there she was. And that's not disputed by anybody. That was neglect, never bad. Yeah, and it is neglect. You're moving. There's a lot of kids around. You're you're relying on your other children to take care of everybody else, take care of themselves, right? And she had to move, and they were packing and unpacking, whatever the case may be. That accident that gave her the head injury, presumably, I don't even know if she knew what happened. For all I know, it was just kids falling down, and she bumped her head, and that's all that they know. So again, when you're talking about death penalty, you can't get that wrong. You can't get it wrong. I mean, taking the life does not make this all right. I don't know if they're being evicted. All I know is that they were moving out of one apartment into another. And this accident happened either on the new place or at the old place. I don't know. If CPS would have removed the children due to excessive drug abuse, the child would have been protected and alive. Yeah, perhaps. But, there's a theory floating out there that two of Melissa's other kids bullied Mariah. And they would smack her around, make her fall, push her. One report says they would put vinegar in her bottle that she would feed from. That's all stated there. And they didn't like her. They've said it. I can play the video again. You want to hear the video? You want to hear that little clip of the interview? It was no secret. They felt no closeness to her. Maybe because it was a different father, and whatever the reason was, they just didn't feel close to her. You know what? Maybe I will look it up real quick. So let's say that the charge goes to negligent homicide, if you want to go that far. My understanding, that sentence is 2 to 20 years. 2 to 20. And usually they're out around the 10 to 12 year mark. Now, she's been in there going on 15 years now. So they would most likely call that time served. Ideally. No, stay, a child is dead. I know you guys keep saying that, but it's not. It's got to be clear cut why she's dead. It's got to be. Well, she was moving out of the upstairs apartment with 15 steps and into an apartment that had only. Okay, I saw that place. EMS made a mistake to begin this whole mess. Oh boy. So why didn't they? Yep. She needs a new trial. At the very least, yes, a new trial. Hey, Eliana. And yes, Linda Lou, I was about to say that. You have to get it right. Emily, you have to get it right because you can't undo it. Look at the documentary called The Phantom. I forget the guy's name. Dude was accused of a murder. And they swear it was him. It was him. He kept saying, it's not me. I'm innocent. I wasn't there. I didn't do it. Gets tried, gets convicted, death row. The guy's dead. They execute him. And guess what after the fact? Oh, now they found out his friend did it. He confessed to it. Now everything clears up. Well, guess what? Innocent man was executed. Now it's too late. Can they execute this guy? I don't know how that works. Gene, hi, Gene. It has to be 100% beyond a reasonable doubt. 1,000%, just like she said. When you're talking about taking somebody's life. Now, if she did it, and it was obvious she rang her neck or she had an object and did something, and there was not even an investigation, really. there was no real investigation by the police. All the investigating was done by attorneys and the PIs and everything else. Because when she confessed, they were like, well, all right, she confessed. Go to trial. You know, they were really, really pushing for her to go down. Hey, Susan, we're going to start retrying everyone on death row now. Everything there should be a moratorium, and everything's got to be looked at. You can't be putting innocent people to death. And I'm the first one. If they're guilty, you know, get it done right away. The Chinese, they say it's a bit barbaric. I don't know if it's still done that way, but there was a time when they would have a trial, capital punishment, a capital murder trial. If he was guilty, 2 to 4 weeks later, he's gone. They would carry out the execution. And that's it. It was done. Over. If it's an ironclad case, I'm okay with that. Look at the guy, John Rubio, Brownsville. I keep referring to that guy. Decapitated his kids with a kitchen knife. 3 of them. 3. Decapitated his kids alive. Police show up. They were screaming. Police show up. He comes out and says, I did it. Arrest me. I just killed my kids. Police walk in. There's blood everywhere. There's heads there. They're trying to dispose of the bodies. Police are still traumatized from that day. And that was in the 90s. And that dude's got no business being on this planet. All right. So now he's complaining. And guess what? They're going to look at his evidence all over again. Dude might get a retrial. That guy might get a retrial. How come Melissa's not getting a chance? What's wrong there? Something is wrong. It's like they're trying to hurry up to cover this up, get her out of the picture, and possibly not look into shadiness that was done by her attorney and the DA at the time. That's what I think. Does it mean it'll stop the investigation or a new investigation into that shadiness? Not necessarily. But it'll slow it down a whole lot if they do that. So, Carol, that's why they do moratoriums. And yeah, I think Illinois did that. They put a stop to it and they looked at every single case. But if you're talking about an innocent life, I think that's the way it should be done. Negligence on their part in CPS, knowing for dropping the ball. Perhaps too. You know, and I don't want to go there right now because the focus should be on getting Melissa a retrial and a stay of execution. But, you know, other people will be questioned. Other people in the family, other family members will be questioned. There you go. Yep. Hey, June. Yes, Melissa was given no resource for none, no substance abuse. No, nothing at all. It was just pound on her and did you do it? Did you do it? And finally she, her words, I guess I did it. I guess I did it. Does that sound like a heartfelt confession to you? And so, yeah, you know, I'm pushing for this. The drug abuse wasn't a CPS report, but so was baby Mariah's medical history of having difficulty walking because of irregular gait and foot. I'm not sure if it was both feet, but one of them was face inward. Children fall often. Yeah, they have problems keeping their balance and not tripping even over themselves. It'll be lethal injection, bro. There too, man. And if it's about the case of it, shitloads of could have, would have, but didn't. I know, that's the thing. So many people failed her. It's not even funny. You know, it was like she was some kind of a, you know, John Wayne Gacy. All these serial killers, they get better trials than she did. And that's if they confess. and they get better trials and better representation than she did. Hey, Rachel, thank you. We have evidence that she was injured in foster care. See, okay, that's what I was saying. What if it happened in foster care? So, because I know what you know, Susan, I'm going to say that information is also in the packet that's going to be asked to be reviewed by the DA and by the governor. That's okay, and I get you. Great point, Susan. An addict does not make a killer. It's true. I mean, yeah, people have vices, they do drugs, but it doesn't make them a hardcore killer. Can they make mistakes and not be where they should be and their mind not clear? Yes. Neighbor as well. Imagine if it was a family of ours, we'd want a fair trial. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, a fair trial. You know, I'm not even saying, well, just let her out and she's done and she didn't do it. No, give her, if she's tried again with all this evidence that was not presented originally, she'll be found not guilty. No doubt. No doubt. She probably marched for kids to get free meals. They made a game out of it. Yeah, I mean, there were issues, right? It was not perfect. But she made sure that they ate at least, 2 or 3 square meals a day. On top of that, her husband at the time, he was tried also. He was tried. They were co-defendants. Dude gets 4 years. Now he's in, I think, San Antonio. He's living it up. He's out. No death penalty for him. Why not for him, and why for her? There is enough reasonable doubt for a stay. Yeah, there is. Linda, I hope that she gets it. Poor thing. I know. She never had a chance. Never had a chance. Oh, okay. Let me get this video. For those of you who didn't see the documentary and might have missed, these are deleted scenes from the documentary. And there it is. And okay.
How do you feel? They're convinced that she's innocent. You don't really know, right? About that. I mean, they're convinced.
Like if
the family's divided, right? I mean, there's some brothers and sisters who are just convinced that she didn't do anything, and have told me adamantly. And you, with your sister, are kind of like the only one, really clear about that.
It's just us. I guess we're the younger ones who lived in the home, So I guess everybody has like their own side of what they see and saw or what they knew and remember. I mean, we all do, But us being the younger ones or the ones still living in the house at that time, we were there, I guess, in the home when everything happened. A lot of time has passed, and but it's stuff that we remember or things that we've heard from other people. Or somebody else said this, or we read this, or something else. You know what I mean? But yeah, I guess within all the years that have passed, there's always been stories spreading around, news, this, that, or just what people say, and we really don't know what exactly is the truth or not the truth.
So my question is, do you think that influenced you in a way?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you seen your mom hit Mariah?
The question was, have you seen your mom hit Mariah?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember now, but I can't even think here. But I don't think so. No.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm just wondering. It's been so long. How much is a real memory? It's actually true, and how much is made up? Because it's easy to be kind of brainwashed when everybody's telling you something different. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to understand, that's why I'm asking you again. Do you remember? You don't remember. Do you remember your mom hitting her?
I don't think I can say I've seen it, with her bare hands. I guess it's more of a, this person said that person said that. You know, we were young. We were very young. We weren't even educated on any of this. We didn't know what was going on, you know. But I'm pretty sure it's a lot of what that was. You know, like everybody saying their own stories or making up their own stories.
How do you?
No, what do you think about that? The reality is they didn't get to bond with Mariah because she was taken from Melissa at birth and not returned until she was 2. Okay, well, that explains the bonding issue. So they took her away at birth because she had drugs in her system. And then when they brought her back, oh, now they have a almost 2-year-old sibling. So Linda Lou is right. I'm sure that has a lot to do with not being able to bond and not to welcome her as a sister, right? How many cases have been overturned after years? It happens a lot more than we probably know. It happens a lot, but at the same time, it doesn't happen enough. Yeah, I mean, negligence, and that's true, but negligence does not warrant a death penalty. I mean, you have to know that. Hey, Yolanda, my child is dead too, but just like Melissa, I didn't do it. And killing Melissa won't bring the child back. The remaining kids and family are going through hell. You can't imagine because they know their mama bear is innocent. And just so you know, I'm going to have John Lucio, Melissa's son. He'll be here on Wednesday afternoon with me, just for a little bit. He's visiting with his mom. He went to see her. He went to see Melissa yesterday, and he's going to see her tomorrow. And then he's coming back tomorrow night into Wednesday, and then they leave on Thursday again to go speak in Dallas regarding this situation. And he's going to come on the air with us Wednesday, middle afternoon, late afternoon, something like that. I'll let y'all know when that happens. They need to bring back the electric chair, Pluto ride the lightning. Yeah. That's too, I don't know. Electric chair is a little too harsh. Free Melissa Lucio. Let's see. So that's a murder if they execute an innocent man. Yeah, it is. But then it was the jury. But how do you sort that out? I can't. I wouldn't know where to start. You start with the prosecution. They went heavily, or the person who pointed the finger or drew the sketch of what the guy looks like. Look at that documentary. You guys watch it. It's on Netflix. It's called The Phantom. And if I'm not mistaken, that was Corpus Christi. I think that was up in Corpus. The Phantom. Look that up. Can't let guilty get by either. Oh, no. Hey. I get it, Carol. If they're guilty, yeah, I got no truck with the death penalty. Only that it must be an ironclad, airtight, perfect case. That's my thing. CPS needs to go make a house check and make sure the house is livable, especially if Mariah had a disability. Yeah, and they never went back. So since Susan brought it up, what if Mariah got hurt in foster care? And then all of a sudden you got this, oh man, she's injured. You know what? Let's just give her back to her mom. Let's give her back. And just rush, gave her back to Melissa. And the kid is injured already. That's a theory too, because why? They never came back to check on her. I mean, from what I understand, CPS, when they give the kids back, they come right away, 2 or 3 or a week later and check how things are. Check the apartment, check the kid. They didn't even do a physical on the child before giving her back to Melissa. There's too much shadiness going on here, and it doesn't sit well with me. Hey, Marco, for once I agree with you. Moratorium on capital punishment if there's systemic problems in prosecution and death penalty. Yeah, and only for that reason. And I know it sucks, and it's going to take, can you imagine how long it takes to have to review everything? But you get to a point where, it has to be done. How can you keep killing if they're innocent? How can you keep killing innocent people? I'm not saying it's easy, but I think it's got to be done. Rest in peace, 3 Brownsville Angels. Yeah, that's horrible. That's a whole other thing, and I got more stuff coming. True crime is a direction we're headed to with Manny behind the mic, y'all. People keep talking about, you know what, kill them because execute them because we don't need to be paying, taxpayers that are paying their upkeep. Well, guess what? What if I told you the taxpayers don't pay their upkeep? Don't pay to house them in jail, on death row, or in jail? At the TDCJ, we don't pay that. Did you know that? I got a nice little program coming up on that. It's like, well, then who does the funding? If it's not the taxpayers, who funds the Texas Department of Criminal Justice? Who pays to keep the inmates in there? It's not your tax money, believe it or not. And many states are like this, and you're going to find out where that money comes from. And you're going to go, whoa, no way. Yes way. Gene, people falsely confess all the time for a variety of reasons. Low socioeconomic areas suffer the consequences of not having top dollar representation. Yeah, and something as in her case, it started way from the beginning. Something as simple as I want a lawyer. I want my attorney. That might have helped back then. That might have prevented us from getting here. But she never did. She didn't know. She was never in trouble before. She didn't know. God's honest truth, and I keep hearing this. You know what? Fine. Guilty, and we'll go to court, and I'll fix it later. It'll get fixed in court. Yeah, it's a shock that they went for a capital punishment and that she got convicted and was sent to death row. Didn't expect that whatsoever. She thought it could be fixed. That's why they were trying to offer her the plea deal. Come on, take the 30 years. You'll be out. You'll be, 50 something or 60 something, and you'll get out. You'll be 50 something, I think, and you'll get out. But her thing was that, why am I going to do that? If I didn't do it, I'm not guilty. How terrible. It's awful. Why have the death penalty? It's cheaper to house them for life, and it's not deterrent or mistakes are made. You know what? It's a deterrent. You're right. Because appeals, I put the story the other day of, I forget the gentleman's name. The guy's been on death row since the 30 years, something like that. Right now he's 80 something. He's going to be 80. Health problems. He's wheelchair ridden. He's been after appeal, and his case got lost slipped through the cracks. Delays, COVID, whatever you want to call it, delays. Now the dude's got health issues, and he's probably not going to last very long anyway. And people are saying, well, let's not kill him. Let's spare him. I don't think they should. I think they need to just make that happen already. Dude was a bad guy. He was not a good guy. And it was a life of crime, 50-year life of crime. Never learned from it, didn't get it right. I'm sorry. That one I don't agree with. I say it's time to just, take care of that and get that done with. Rubio case, March of 2003. There you go. Thank you. R.I.P. Baby Mariah. I'm for her serving life. See, but if it was negligence, life is not even a category. Life is not even an option for punishment for negligence. It's 2 to 20, from what I understand. 2 to 20. 20 being the most severe case, and even then, she can be out around the 10-year mark. Murders was 2003. I thought it was the 90s, actually. Was that in the 90s? If we're gonna have a death penalty, we need to be sure the system is working. Yep, that's my thing right there. Those MFers should be arrested for concealing evidence. Yeah, that's why I think that's another reason that why they're trying to make this. Hurry up, put a date. Let's get her out of here and let's bury her and make it all go away. But it's not going to go away. It's not. Yeah, if it was your family member and they were convicted by a crook of a DA, wouldn't you ask for some fairness? I know, and it's easy to sit here and cast judgment on somebody. But if the shoe was on the other foot and it was one of yours who was accused, I know you guys would want a fair freaking trial. You better give me a fair trial. You better give her or him a fair trial. Here's another clip. Oh, let me get this commercial out of the way.
What about the accident? Do you believe there was an accident?
No, I don't believe that it was an accident. I believe that Alex, and even from her own mouth to me, yes, I did it. I pushed her. It wasn't an accident. I believe that Alex had helped over and over and over with all of the children. And I believe that she was a teenager.
Okay. She's talking about the last video you just saw, the one she's holding her baby and she's talking about, oh, we were young and this and that. That's Alexandra. They call her Alex.
She was wild as a West Texas wind. And I believe that she deliberately and intentionally pushed Mariah so that she didn't have to change any more diapers or fix any more bottles.
See, that's the only place I disagree with Lynn Marie here is I think they did it to bully Mariah. I personally don't think that they intended to kill her. There would have been other ways to do that. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's just my feeling.
It came from her mouth the day that I met with her sister, and her auntie and her mom there in Combs, Texas. Yeah, quote, yeah, I did it. So what do you want me to say? Yeah, I did it. What do you want to do to me now? Arrest me? End of quote. And she walked out of the house. The truth is Melissa did not kill Mariah. I believe that with every part of me. It is my opinion based on coming from her mouth that her sister Alexis is the one who did it. And she's the one that should be held accountable, not Melissa.
And you guys have seen Lynn Marie before. Besides the documentary, she came on with me a couple times. There's no lying in her. She's got no reason to lie. If anything, she'd be saying, yeah, Mariah, Melissa did it. But, she's not. She's saying the opposite. I think you guys get the feeling from talking to her that I have a couple times on the air. I talk to her every day, too. I chat with her and talk to her every single day since then. She's not a liar. She wouldn't make stuff up. She's got no reason to.
I'll go to my grave saying that her sister is the one that killed her, not Melissa. I can actually see Alexis' point of view. She's tired. She's a teenager. She wants to go be with her friends. She wants to go to the skating rink. She wants to go to the movies. But she has to babysit. And I can see where a grudge could form. I can see where she can just get downright ugly about it. I can see where, I've had enough. These aren't my kids. I'm done. I've had enough. I'll fix this. And that was her easiest way to do it. She had already been abusive to Mariah. She'd already done ugly things. Pinch her, slap her. You don't slap a 2-year-old. There's other ways to punish a 2-year-old for acting out. The other sister told me, not Alex, Selena, said that she would sometimes put vinegar in the bottle to feed to her, and that she wouldn't always change her. She'd pinch her, slap her.
Do you love Gantt charts? Here's how easily you can.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do y'all think? What do you think about that? Here's a short clip. Let's play this guy. Oh, sorry, muted.
My name is Ed Stapleton, and I
Okay, Ed Stapleton. He was the attorney for Melissa's husband. She had hers, and he had his.
represented Melissa Lucio's husband, Robert Alvarez, during his trial. He always believed she was innocent. He never felt like that she had done anything wrong. He just knew it was a tragedy, felt bad, but he did not ever think Melissa had or would do anything to the baby. When I met him, he wanted her out of jail and wanted to be out of jail, and he wanted a family again. When I spoke to the other children, I never got any report from any of the children that Melissa had been violent or abusive with Mariah. I had heard that one of the daughters was abusive, and I had that reported. I don't remember if it was by another one of the kids, but somebody was telling us that one of the daughters was abusive.
So, since that's the case, and there are two daughters that are kind of on the same side with this situation, where they didn't feel close to Mariah, and now we're going to hear from Selena. And I'm playing these not so that we start blaming Selena or blaming Alexandra, because that's a whole other issue. If they do that and choose to investigate that, maybe that'll happen, maybe not. But I'm just showing that to show that, you know what? It wasn't Melissa. It wasn't Melissa. That's what I'm trying to show you.
I think my mom was a good mom for the most part. I mean, like I said, she made sure we were always fed. I mean, we had clothes. I don't know where we got clothes from. When I think about it, I don't know where we got clothes from.
I'll find
But
out,
we had
Glendy.
clothes. So I guess she was a good mom. From what I remember from when we were younger. She would yell at us, and then when the yelling didn't work, she would tell my dad, Robert, to put us in the corner. So I guess that's one thing I remember good about my mom was that she didn't hit us. The only memory I have of Mariah before was just my mom being pregnant. Well, we didn't even know she was pregnant. Just my mom giving birth on the floor in our duplex home. And I remember my dad, Cheese Boss, my real dad, he had sent us some clothes, me and Marie, because school had just started. And there was a SpongeBob shirt that he had brought me for school. And they used the SpongeBob shirt to clean up like the blood from my mom giving birth to Mariah. And I remember being so mad because we didn't have like our own clothes, but that shirt, it was too small for Marie. I mean, yeah, too small for Marie, and it was my size. So I remember being mad that they used my shirt to clean. I remember being mad that they used my shirt to clean up I guess like all the blood from Mariah being born.
Have you ever witnessed your mother being abusive towards
Yeah.
Because the first time I asked you, you said no.
I think because comparing stories.
Okay, I don't want you to
But
Did you guys get that? Let's go back a little bit.
I think because comparing stories.
A little more. Hang on.
I used my shirt to clean.
Okay.
I remember being mad that they used my shirt to clean up I guess like all the blood from Mariah being born.
Have you ever witnessed your mother being abusive towards you?
Have you ever witnessed your mother being abusive to Mariah? She answers yes, now, when before she said no.
Yeah.
Because the first time I asked you, you said no.
I think because comparing stories,
Okay, I don't want you to
but
compare stories.
it's like a
I'm asking
memory.
you, I'm asking you, do not compare. I don't want to know what, this one or this one are saying. I
But
just
it's hard because when you talk about it so much, a piece of someone else's story becomes a piece of my
I
memory.
understand totally what you're saying. And this is why, I wanted to kind of have all of you apart, you understand? Because I want your story. Um,
So this daughter, Selena, that's been her fight the whole time. That why didn't they put this? This was not in the documentary. This segment, these are all deleted scenes. They were not in the documentary. And her fight was, why isn't my segment and my brother's interview in the documentary? And when Sabrina was on my show, when I interviewed her about the movie, she said because she had always been inconsistent. It was never one story. It was always, and you can tell just from this little clip, that's why she didn't use this in the movie.
do you remember your mom? Okay, you told me your mom was different with Mariah, and I hear it. Was your mom abusive towards Mariah?
I think so. I remember what I just said when John would come over and play with Mariah. Mariah, because Mariah was scared, she would stay stiff, but you can tell she wanted to play with us. And when my brother would leave, my mom would pinch her. All the time, my mom would pinch her and tell her, go sit under the bed or go sit on the corner of the bed, put a pillow over your head or turn around. And we would all be playing or like joking around. And Mariah would look up and my mom would go to her and push her head down in the bed. So, yes, she was abusive. I don't think she would hit Mariah, like punch her or anything, but she was abusive.
So but you don't think did you ever see her punch or slap Mariah?
Punch Mariah, no.
Slap Mariah?
I don't think so. I don't think so. We got to the police station. I know they didn't take us for a little while. We were sitting in the big room for a while. And then eventually they called me in. And that's all I remember.
Another thing, she said she was interviewed by police. None of that is in any of the police records at all whatsoever. Her name is not mentioned. There's no record of, list of people that were interviewed. She does not come up on any of them.
I remember speaking to the lady. Um, and she was asking me questions. I remember she had a tape recorder and she told me before she recorded that she was going to be recording it. And then she asked me questions.
That lady you asked you questions. Do you remember if she talked about her falling down the stairs?
I think so. And I'm pretty sure I told her I saw Mariah fall down the stairs. I think, I don't know, it's hard to remember, but I think was it a black lady that interviewed me? I don't remember. I don't really remember a lot. I think she asked me, or I think she said.
So obviously, as soon as she said that, they went back. Sabrina went back. There was never a black lady. This was at the Harlingen Police Department, and there was no black employee at all working there, let alone an investigator or a detective. So that right there was debunked. I don't know where she got that from.
Your mom said she fell down the stairs. Did you see her fall down the stairs? And I think I told her yes. I know for sure that was a question they asked me because I remember telling her, yes, Mariah fell down the stairs, but I don't remember anything else. I think I love my mom because
I think I love my mom because
we're supposed to love our mom. I don't think I care about my mom.
That sucks, right? I don't know. And is this swaying any of your minds at all? You know? Okay, execution, his is right. April 21st, the old guy. Who was a DA? The DA for Melissa Villalobos. Yep. You want to kill someone for negligence? Yeah, that's the thing. You can't. Negligence is not a capital punishment issue. You know, who was the DA? Villalobos. Yep. Thank you, Sylvia. Thanks. Should definitely deserve a new case. I mean, it's right there, right? And fine, you want to get her for negligence? All right. Well, it's fair. But guess what? Time served. Because anybody else would have come out at 10 to 12. And 15 is definitely way beyond that. They might have let her out just on good behavior. Man, I just sent you a PM. Kim Kardashian just shared Melissa's. Oh, okay, cool. I'll check that out. Thanks, Nina. So now Kim Kardashian is involved. Kim Kardashian. 13 years federal prison. Great guy. Peter Gilman, her attorney, received a nice promotion. Gilman was hired by the DA. They said right after Melissa's case, and some have even said he was already hired while he was on the case. It was just keep it on the down low. That's what's been said. So yeah, so he's already aspirations of working for the DA, and he knows he's going to get hired. Where do you think his mind is? Not a fan of that guy. John Roberts, how do you know? How do you know? Well, I stand corrected and pray for the best outcome. Wendy. Hi, Wendy. I'm just trying. I'm not trying to necessarily just change mind just for the sake of doing it. You know, I want to raise that doubt like a lawyer is supposed to do, right? Her lawyer is supposed to raise these doubts. Crap. I would have been a better attorney for her just by this conversation we're having right now. That's what her attorney's supposed to do. Raise a doubt. You're supposed to be an expert at raising doubts. That's what they're supposed to do. Peter Gilman didn't do jack. If anything, he helped the prosecution. Like he was getting a bonus for it or something. I'm just trying to get you guys to see, yes, you know what? If you're ever picked for a jury, if there's a doubt, I mean, if it's a reasonable doubt, not just a little slim, barely, I don't know. It's got to be a reasonable doubt. And in this case, there are many. Thanks for keeping an open mind. Definitely, you guys. I'm not trying to force feed you this information. Really, I want you to see it and really soak it in and think about it. They saw him getting beefcaked under the San Benito Tower. John Roberts, well, what would it matter if, okay, why can't I see everyone's comments? I don't know. John Roberts, why would it matter if he is or isn't, though? It matters. I had a change of heart. Yep, I'm just putting it out there. I think it deserves to be said, and I don't want anybody who doesn't belong in death row to be there. But since it is what it is, I don't want a Mexican-American woman to be the first Mexican-American woman executed in the state of Texas. I'll say that too. And we can back it up because of all this that we're talking about. So I'm just throwing that up there as like icing on the cake. Okay. Don't let it ruin your day. Let's see if you'd like to beat and help out. Anybody, if you got a few minutes, an hour, something like that, middle of the day, 11 to 1 in front of the Cameron County Courthouse here, just help, just hold a sign up. We just want people to be aware. They can read the sign. They can see it as they come in and out. That's all we're asking. If you can help, that'd be great. There are just too many unanswered questions, conflicting stories, and too many people in a poor child's life. None of them stand up to people. Yeah, and again, and I'm not doing this. At first I was trying to, hey, this is who did it. This is who did it. Look, right here. Look. But now I don't want to do that. The family is already in so much turmoil. And it breaks my heart when I talk to John and he wishes that there could be peace in the family. But I think there's one side and the other side very divided. And there's no need to point fingers right now. There's just a need to show all this evidence and get Melissa, at the very, very least, get her off death row. The next logical step, get her a trial. Something of that sort. She does not deserve to die. So you want to, okay, come on, guys, take that elsewhere. Please take that elsewhere. Let's see. I think that's why they left it to the court to make the decision. Body language. Yeah, the problem with this, the last video you saw of Selena, and now she's the one who's on TikTok all the time, making live videos, answering questions, talking, and calling people liars. And they're just, you know what? I think that's a bad look for the family. I hope she doesn't get online and do that again. They make themselves look bad by doing that. I know I broadcasted once. I wanted to talk to her. I wanted to get the family on. After thinking about it, I decided, no, it's better not. Then they were on again on a TikTok, the brother, Richard. And then the same thing happened. I streamed it and we had another discussion, kind of a discussion from his live to my live, from their live to my live, relaying questions, and he was watching mine. And you can hear the pain in that kid. And again, it was another, I didn't want to, I don't want to exploit what's going on in that family. I know some other pages might, or other people might, and they want to, I don't want to do that. That's not productive. That's not productive, and it's not helping the situation right now. Everybody should try to come together for one good cause, and that's to help mom. Okay. Gone. I remember that. Yep. Isabel Firewater, I agree. People are so quick to throw a book at someone once they, yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of people, everybody, they don't know all the information. It's easy to make a judgment. When I first saw the documentary, it was the same thing. Oh, look at all the bruises. She's guilty. Look at all the bruises. But I didn't finish watching the documentary all the way to the end, just like you saw the doctor who said, well, there's a reason for that. It's a brain injury. Oh, so you read up on that a little bit. Oh, so that kind of crap does happen. Ah, okay. And then you hear about the daughters, and I'm watching the documentary. I've watched it, I don't know, 25 times already. Until, I know it like the back of my hand now. And when I asked Sabrina to come on and discuss it, and then she shed more light. If you didn't see the interview I did with her, look that one up. It was really good. Doesn't make the mother murder. Yep. Let's see. That's. Sorry, man. Gotta go. I've seen all these clips, but he brought this all up. Now it makes sense. I know, and that's what it does. Sometimes, honestly, it took me a bunch of times to watch it for it to kind of start to click, And again, I'm not trying to change your mind just to change it, just to be on my side. No, I want you to really think about it and really go, well, damn, that's not right. She shouldn't be put to death. Okay, here's another one. The Lone Star Plate interview with John Lucio and Melissa sisters said the beds were on the floor. They had no frames. There was no under the bed. Good catch on that. I didn't bring it up. It's been talked about before. So they had no beds, right? They only had mattresses. So when somebody said that they would put Mariah under the bed, I don't know how that's possible. And I don't know where. There were clearly no beds at all. There were just mattresses on the floor. So that part, I don't know where that came from. I'm gonna keep just going. Do not. Yes, Alex isn't a murderer either. She was frustrated with it. Yeah, and I'm not saying that she was. You know, when you're just pushing somebody, or you're bullying a little bit, making her fall down, and you know kids laugh, and they. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was with the intent of murder, like making her go away forever. I don't think that. I don't. I used to think that, but I don't. And maybe I'm giving him a benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? By hoping that they're not bad people like that. But they were little kids. You know, she was, what was she, 8, I think? I think Alexandra was 8 when she was a bully to the Mariah. So not necessarily a mindful bully, but just kids being those natural tendencies. I'm not saying that they're evil, but just they were a bully to a little kid that they didn't really know. I don't think it was murder. Yeah, she doesn't give off a good look, right? I get it. I know, poor kids. Everything is just so much. There's just so much out there. Time served, yes, 15 years. Okay, dude, come on, really? Yeah, I've had enough of all this. Sid Brown, yep, the CPS social workers are so guilty for negligence. It should go. A lot of things should be looked at. A lot of things should be looked at. Guilt, yeah. You know, he can. I don't know what the process is for that. Melissa's attorney was not in for her. He wasn't. He was not in for her. I have it. I have it. You guys want to play some of that? I can play some of that. Let me look it up for a second. The guy's name is Patrick Williams. Lone Star Plate is the name of it's another show. And I'm just going to play a short. There's 2 videos. The full one is 2 hours interview, but then he did a 40-minute clip, and we can play some of this. I won't play the whole thing. If you want to watch the whole thing, I'll leave it, but we don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to. And here it comes.
On today's episode of the Lone Star Plate, we sit down with 3 members of the Melissa Lucio family and director Sabrina Von Tassel with her documentary, The State of Texas vs. Melissa. We encourage you to check that out now. It's available on Hulu. Warning, the episode you are about to see is not rated for everyone. It contains mature content and sensitive information about the Melissa Lucio case. We encourage everyone to keep an open mind about the case.
Yeah.
If you feel encouraged, please sign the petition to free Melissa Lucio. We'll put a link in the description.
I do have this put up on my page if you want to look for it. I can repost it. I can repost it tonight for tomorrow morning or something like that if you want.
Thank you so much.
Who'd you bring with you today, Sabrina?
Okay, so I know I've been on your podcast twice already.
Yeah.
To talk about my film, The State of Texas versus Melissa. And today it's very special because we are touring with Melissa's family. So this is Sonia, Melissa's sister, and you have John, who's Melissa's oldest son, and then you have Vanessa, who is Melissa's niece. And together we've been on how many cities?
We're from the Valley to Corpus to San Antonio to Houston, now Dallas. So we've got 5 for now.
And the reason for that is that Melissa Lucio got an execution date on April 27th. And there was just no time to waste. anymore. And I wanted to be close to the family because for 3 years, I investigated this case. I did a film about her, and I'm outraged by this injustice. And I wanted to be close to the family to basically,
Let me scroll forward a little bit.
spread.
Let's hear
You
from
said it. It's true.
Melissa's sister.
Yes.
And what are they saying exactly that's not true?
They're saying their mother abused Mariah, and that is absolutely not true. There's evidence that will prove otherwise, that it is Selena and Alex that abused Mariah.
Yeah. And they've even said on camera before that that didn't happen. And now they're saying it did all of a sudden out of nowhere, right? Like they
contradict
changed their
themselves.
story.
They're changing their story
Yeah.
constantly. They're afraid.
They're
They're
afraid.
afraid because there's an execution date. People are pointing fingers at both of them. Charge the daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right,
So
Linda.
they're scared. They want to make sure their mom gets executed so that the story goes away.
So
and
that
they're set
nothing
free,
can happen to them.
and nothing happens to them.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's a selfish sort of protect myself
Yes.
no matter what I got to
They've been
do.
protecting themselves for years.
For
Sorry,
years.
Isabel, I was wrong. She was a teenager already, so
So what do you want
I was
people to
wrong. She was
know
not 8.
about that? Just that alone? Is there more to that you want people to understand about what they're saying? I mean, just that it's not true and that they're more involved actually than they're saying.
Oh, definitely. And it's not just the family. It's not just her siblings that are stating it's a fact. It's written. They themselves have stated. It's in the documentary. Alexandra is admitting that she did not like Mariah, that she was not she didn't have a bond with Mariah,
Yeah.
and that she would hit her.
Yeah.
So there's an older daughter, Daniela. She also saw Alejandra bang Mariah's head against the floor. She's 2 years old. How do you? It's just unbelievable.
Absolutely.
I witnessed Alejandra try to hurt another one of her own nephews. She's a mom now. And I know she's afraid. Selena's afraid. They're like super glue.
Them
They're
together.
super glued together, yes, and they've been covering up for one another. But it's time for the real truth to be told.
Sure.
My sister is innocent. She needs to properly grieve for Mariah.
Yes.
She has not grieved for Mariah.
Yeah.
She's not a murderer like people are claiming her to be. She's a loving mother that is protecting her daughter. I'm a mother. I wouldn't give up one daughter for the other. I put myself in her shoes
Sure.
millions of times, and I've questioned the whole situation. And I don't believe, and I know that this was not my sister's doing. My sister is an innocent woman on death row that is going to get executed if we don't stop this, if we
Yeah.
don't bring the truth to light. And we're not just saying it because we want to save Melissa. We're saying it because it's a truth. It's been told to several people that we have never been present. It's been told to Robert's attorney, the stepdad. It's been told to Melissa's attorney. It's been told in the documentary. It's been told by her children. What more do they want?
Yeah.
What more do they
more
want?
do they want?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been told by to two different mitigation specialists, two different private investigators for the defense team, 5 years apart. So during Melissa's original trial in 2007, there's a private investigator, a mitigation specialist by the name of Norma Villanueva, and she basically decides to interview the children. And while she's doing that, Alexandra tells her, "I'm the reason why Mariah fell down those stairs."
Hey,
So
John. Hey,
immediately,
Charles.
She tries to contact the defense team. She tries to contact, Peter Gilman, and she says to him, she's like, "Wow, let's stop everything. This is what this daughter has just said to me."
Yeah.
And he basically says to her, "No, we're not going to talk about this."
That's breaking news. I mean, that's
breaking news,
literally
and that could have stopped
breaking news.
That could have stopped the Melissa's trial altogether.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And why he decided not to bring that up. Actually, none of the jurors ever heard that. He basically said, "You've never heard anything. You're never going to talk about this anymore. This will never be, talked about." And she questioned it. We have an affidavit, from her, in in some of the appeals that have been filed, where she basically said, I questioned him, because this could have changed Melissa Lucio's entire trial.
Yeah.
Still, he decided not to bring that evidence. Not only that, he decided not to bring any of the children to testify for Melissa, even two of the youngest kids, two brothers, two of her sons, who basically said that they saw Mariah fall down a flight of stairs. So basically, the jury never got a chance to hear that. But 5 years later, she gets sentenced to death. Then she has a direct appeal. Then she has a new lawyer, and that new lawyer hires a new private investigator by the name of Lynn Marie Garcia, and she is going to go all around, the valley to try to find the children and investigate. And while she's doing that, she is going to
I just posted the Kim Kardashian thing to my page, what Kim Kardashian wrote.
admit to her that yes, Alexandra would be very rough with Mariah. She would hit her,
Yeah.
she would pinch her, and same thing. Actually, Alexandra is going to admit that again, she's the reason why she fell down those stairs, and that yes, she would be rough, and she would punch her, and she would pinch her, and so she comes back with this information. But at the time, those girls were minors,
Yeah.
so there was just
What,
no
like
way to
15-ish?
yeah, it's 15 and 16.
Yeah.
And so, well, they were 15 and 16 at the time of Mariah's death, I think, or 14 and 15, something like that. And then years later, when Lynn Marie Garcia went to interview them, Alexandra was
An
an
adult.
adult,
Yeah.
but she refused to sign any written statement.
Yeah.
And Selena was still a minor, so there was just no way that she could be forced to sign any statements as well. So those are evidence that were never brought up, and that could be brought up today if the lawyers had time to file new motions, and and this is what we're looking.
I mean, what can be done in the time that's left?
Well,
what can actually be done
a lot
to
of things
really
are being
stop
done.
this?
I mean, the lawyers are doing all kinds of motions. They are trying to. There's a lot of things. I mean, everything went wrong in this case.
Yeah.
I often say, I mean, everything that could have gone wrong in a case went wrong in Melissa's
Sure.
case. I mean, one thing is, the huge conflict of interest that's going on right now in Cameron County. I mean, you have her court-appointed attorney who works for the DA's office, for the actual DA.
Yeah.
And his wife, who worked on Melissa's case as well, works for the judge. So, they're trying to actually have them removed,
Yeah.
if that, so that was actually filed yesterday. They did two different motions. I can tell you exactly. One against the DA and one against the judge who signed it. They demand that the judge and DA recuse themselves. Two key members of Mrs. Lucio's original defense team are now working for the judge overseeing her case, and the district attorney seeking to have her executed. So this is what's happening. And they're also trying to bring in new evidence. Of course, the fact that all of a sudden, one of her daughters, Selena, went on TikTok saying these horrible lies, trying to get her mom, executed. I mean, there's just no other way to say it.
Yeah. Like make sure it happens, right? Like the date set, like, yeah, let's
It happens so that
let's not let this
free,
other
yes.
narrative come out.
Of course,
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I wasn't going to disclose my footage, but when that happened, because I had interviewed Selena, and she kept saying that she was
For the film, right? This was
documentary.
extra.
I had interviewed her,
extra
and
footage.
she kept saying, "Well, I'm not in the documentary.
Yeah.
Sabrina is lying. She was pushing a narrative." So, I said, you know what? I'm just going to disclose this. No problem. So I basically started giving my footage to the lawyers and to the press, and just making it public. And yes, I mean, I did.
And those
interview
videos
Selena.
completely contradict what
Just
she's
completely.
saying on
Yes.
TikTok, right? Like
Yes,
it
entirely,
literally
yes.
the opposite.
Literally the opposite.
And that video
100%,
was taken
110.
first, right? So
Yes.
it's not like
Yes.
it's the other way around.
Correct.
That's the
Exactly.
original footage
That's
of
the
what she
original
originally
footage.
said when she didn't know that TikTok, you know, all these other things, right,
Yes.
was going to happen.
Yes.
So yeah, that's telling.
So it's almost 1:20 in the morning. My daughter's asleep back there, and
Every time she goes live, it's after midnight. She says it's because of work. Maybe it is. I just don't think it's a good idea for her to be on talking about this stuff. It's giving them a very bad look.
I just wanted to make this because I feel like people think I'm making these videos because I want my mom to be executed, and that's not the case at all. The reason why I started this TikTok is because a few days before or after maybe the documentary was released on Hulu, I was told by a lot of people that I know that it was very biased, and that the truth wasn't said at all. So that's why I started the TikTok.
Remember, a documentary doesn't have to be down the middle fair. A documentary is a documentary. You know, it's going to lean one way or the other. If they try to be fair about it, okay, then that's fine. But it doesn't have to be. You know, and the more and more Sabrina looked into this and more research, because she's an investigative journalist first, and then she's a filmmaker. So she knows how to dig and where to dig. And the more she started digging, the more it became obvious, wait a minute, this woman shouldn't be on death row.
I've said it so many times on here, and I'll keep saying it. The only people who know the truth about what happened to my sister were my parents, my mom and my dad, and the siblings that lived in the apartment with us. Everything else is things that either my mom told them or they came up with on their own. I don't know. But another thing I wanted to talk about was the theory that my sister fell downstairs. And that very well could have happened, but her falling down the stairs would not have caused bite marks. Falling down the stairs would not have caused pinch marks all over her body.
There was no bite mark. There was a questionable mark, but it turned out it was never conclusive. They said it's not square. It's not a legit thing that it was a bite mark. So the bite mark evidence was not even brought up because it was debunked. It couldn't be proven that it was a bite mark. There was bruising in a round kind of a shape. Could have been a pinch, but it was, from what I hear, it was not a bite mark.
Or her falling down the stairs would not have caused bruises from my mother's rings on my sister's body. So my mom did abuse my sister, and the abuse led to my sister's death. Do I think my mom meant to kill my sister? Absolutely not. But it happened, and that's what she's in prison for. And that's possibly what she will get executed for. And unfortunately, me signing a petition, which I have signed, isn't going to stop the execution because my sister is dead. My mom caused her death, and she's paying the price. I think my mom was a good mom for the most part.
You saw this earlier.
I mean, like I said, she made sure we were always fed. I mean, we had clothes. I don't know where we got clothes from. When I think about it, I don't know where we got clothes from, but we had clothes.
Well, I mean, when you're little, you don't remember where you got your clothes from or your food or whatever. You just know that it was there, right? So that's not too big of a point.
So I guess she was a good mom. From what I remember from when we were younger, she would yell at us, and then when the yelling didn't work, she would tell my dad Robert to put us in the corner. So I guess that's one thing I remember good about my mom was that she didn't hit us.
And that's been said by family members, everybody that they interviewed. Melissa was never abusive. Melissa didn't even like to discipline the kids. She would tell her husband to do it or one of the kids to do it or something. But Melissa herself didn't even discipline the kids, any of them.
The only memory I have of Mariah before was just my mom being pregnant. Well, we didn't even know she was pregnant. Just my mom giving birth on the floor in our duplex home.
Have you ever witnessed your mother being abusive towards Mara?
Yeah.
Because the first time I asked you, you said no.
I think because comparing stories.
Okay, I don't want you to
But
compare
it's like
stories.
a memory.
I'm asking you, do not compare. I don't want to know what, this one or this one are saying.
But it's hard because when you talk about it so much, a piece of someone else's story becomes a piece of my memory.
I understand totally what you're saying. And this is why, I wanted to kind of have all of you apart, you understand? Because I want your story. Do you remember your mom? Okay, you told me your mom was different with Mariah, and I hear it. Was your mom abusive towards Mariah?
I think so. I remember what I just said when John would come over and play with Mariah. Mariah, because Mariah was scared, she would stay stiff, but you can tell she wanted to play with us. And when my brother would leave, my mom would pinch her. All the time, my mom would pinch her and tell her, go sit under the bed or go sit on the corner of the bed, put a pillow over your head or turn around. And we would all be playing or like joking around. And Mariah would look up and my mom would go to her and push her head down in the bed. So yes, she was abusive. I don't think she would hit Mariah, like punch her or anything, but she was abusive.
So but you don't think did you ever see her punch or slap Mariah?
Punch Mariah, no.
Slap Mariah?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
So I can leave it right there for now. I can get into this more tomorrow. I can play the entire interview and we can comment on it. I can comment on it. Susan Sarandon tweeted this: call Texas Governor Greg Abbott and tell him to save Melissa Lucio. A woman said to be executed in less than a month. So now Ms. Sarandon, I tweeted her. I included her in a tweet that included Marianne Williamson and Eva Longoria, and along with Kim Kardashian. I sent a tweet to Susan Sarandon. So I'd like to think she saw mine, but that's probably not the case. Yeah, no established by Mark. We're going to leave it at that for tonight. We'll continue this tomorrow, and I hope you guys don't get bored of this. This is not just something I'm doing. It's not for publicity or none of that stuff. Time is of the essence right now. Time is running out, and the more that people hear about this, it's very, very important. So share the crap out of it. God willing, Wednesday, John, if you're listening or whatever, if he's got time in the afternoon, he's just back from one trip and then he's going to take off on another. So I won't keep him for a long time. If he even has the time, that'll be great. So we're going to try to plan that out. And some more Melissa Lucio stuff this week. We're going to hit this hard. And please share. Every time these come out, please share them. Try to get people to watch them. Try to get people to listen. Try to get people to be aware. Still, people are not aware. Who's Melissa? No, I haven't heard of that. What's going on? I've had to explain it a few times already, and it's like, wow, that's not a good sign. So share it. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. I'm definitely gonna. I'm telling you, this is gonna be ground zero for Melissa until the 27th or until something happens. There's some other cases I want to talk about too. Charles, who's on here, he's his brother, also innocent. Now they commuted his sentence. He's still in prison, and now they turn it to life. But that's another guy, innocent. And there are plenty of stories like that. And I've got a few things in mind. So for now, take all this, soak it in, and think about it. Talk to your friends, talk to your family. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I'll be back tomorrow for sure. And we'll pick it up with one of these videos, and we'll keep going. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I love you guys. It means a lot. Have a great night, and we'll see you on Tuesday.